My name is Adrienne Somerville, and I'm the founder of the Carolyn E Foundation. I live a life filled with purpose. I always believed my purpose in life was to live a life of significance, one that ensured the success of other people. That's what I'm doing with my foundation, starting with the youth in our community and partnering with many of my sponsors. Live dreams, seek purpose, live an awesome life.
Adrienne,
hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time and everything that you do. Just not for women, not only for women in our local area, but women around the globe.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it. I just appreciate your leadership, your just being authentic, and your capacity to give. I think it's tremendous. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, while I know a lot, some of the people tuning in may not know a lot. So tell us a little bit about your background, where you grew up, the types of jobs you've held, family, are you married, kids,
Yes.
the whole nine. So give us a little bit about your background.
So I was born in New York.
Okay.
Brooklyn, New York.
Down Bronx.
Yeah,
Is
in
that
inner
Brooklyn?
city.
Okay.
That's the Bronx. The Bronx.
You sound a Southern girl.
But that's okay.
So that's okay.
We're all family.
Yes.
In New
Okay.
York.
Okay.
So I grew up in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Primarily spent the bulk of my years with my grandmother. A lot of
Okay.
my time, my inspiration, my mentor, my tried and true. When I think of strength and tenacity in women and all we represent, she taught me how to be a service leader. She taught me everything I knew pretty much about womanhood. I then moved in with my aunt, and so my aunt raised me. I grew up with my cousin Tina, almost like sisters.
Wow.
Traveling
In
with the
Brooklyn?
military. With the military, we started to move about.
Okay.
My aunt married my uncle who was in the military. So we lived in Maine, and we lived in Brunswick, Bath, and then we lived in Norfolk.
Wow.
And then we lived here in Lexington Park for a little tour prior to going to Norfolk State.
Okay.
And then I graduated from Norfolk State.
Wow.
So really exciting. Then my journey actually ended up back in the Washington area to attend law school.
Okay.
I was accepted into Howard's Law School, then presented. My little quandary was, do I take this Navy job working as a civilian for the Navy, or do I elect to go to law school, which is really all I had hoped to aspire to be, was an attorney.
Wow.
Just another way of serving people. But I was really drawn and impressed by the warfighter connection and being a contracting officer, procuring things, and I elected to take that route with the desire to still attend law school.
Wow. Okay.
So further my education, received a master's degree, and looking forward to going back to law school.
You're going back?
I'm going back. I'm taking my LSAT exam in June.
Okay.
So I'll be going back, traveling down that road once traveled.
Okay. I think
So
that's
excited.
wonderful. Because it was still a dream.
It's still a dream.
of yours.
Just deferred like Langston Hughes.
Exactly.
So
I love it.
I'm excited.
Tell me a little bit about, so I know you have your own foundation.
Yes.
Named after in honor of your grandma.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the background of the foundation.
So the Carolyn E. Foundation is about 2 years young. Okay. I started in 2013. Always had a desire to continue to carry the legacy forward of my grandmother. And she taught me service. We all are service leaders, service first.
Okay.
The goal to ensure someone else became successful first. So everything was putting others first. Okay. And then your blessings would be bestowed upon you. It was just something that was the cycle of life for
Absolutely.
us.
Okay.
And I believed in that. So I always felt like I had been so blessed and that this was my time to give back my resources. When I think of my purpose, it wasn't to leverage and have my resources be solely bestowed upon me.
Okay.
So I have to think, well, what could I do? What could I do to give back to my community? And I thought the iconic person who came to mind was my grandmother.
I love it.
Yes. So I established my foundation 2 years ago in her name.
Okay. Awesome. What is the focus of the organization? What would you say would be the root focus of the organization?
So I recognized in this community there are a number of needs.
Okay.
Needs for our elderly, need for information, knowledge about various types of diseases or dementia or Alzheimer's that plague many of our elderly community members. Also our youth.
Okay.
The need to service the particularly girls in our community, just giving them tools that will carry along within womanhood, just ensuring that they feel confident, that they feel empowered, that they know that they're loved, and that they have a number of women that they can lean on in times of trouble and hardship. So I focused initially on the girls. I provide girls in the Spring Ridge Middle School and now Leonardtown Middle School dresses. And the giving of the dress for Project Cinderella is not simply about the dress. It's about the transformation of the girl. And it's the coming into owning your excellence, knowing that you deserve this opportunity to attend an event and be as beautiful on the outside as you are on the inside. And knowing that you have community supporters that believe in you and want you to experience the fullest that your middle school years offer.
I think it's wonderful. And what event are they attending?
They're attending their 8th grade dance. So it's a high for them. It's a culmination of everything that they've gone through, and we know middle school isn't always very kind. So it's an opportunity to ensure that everyone can experience that moment of success.
I love it. And you said we, so you have a team?
I do. I don't do anything. I don't believe we live on an island alone. I have leaned on a number of my dearest friends and partnered with a number of other organizations to give me tools. Walmart has stepped up and allowed me to support. We also, in my foundation, it's about educating our youth. So we provide workshops for girls at Spring Ridge Middle School, career days, we provide college panels, vision board training, money and financial management. I just want to give them all the tools that oftentimes are not provided for some of our schools that are deemed a little bit more kind of underprivileged, if you will.
Okay, wonderful. I think it's wonderful. So what do you believe will be the true impact on your community through your foundation?
I believe I am building a legacy of leaders.
Good.
I'm giving individuals the tools they need to be successful, to think and not always obey, to know that there are resources out there, so we just have a little work to do to get our little piece of information, and to know that they are not alone, that many of us have traveled. They're not in a world where their story is just the only one that they've ever experienced, but that if they turn the page of life, that they have many other stories to read very analogous to those.
I love it.
So I want them to know that there's a support structure, and that although where you sit today is not necessarily your final destiny.
And do you ever hear back from any of the girls that go through?
I do. There was a high school girl that her mother was really strung out on drugs, and she had robbed her mom and her grandmom, and so she had lived, pretty much out there on her own. And she was one that graduated from Great Mills High School. And she mailed me a really nice card. She moved to Florida, but she realized that high school moment she had a lot on her plate, unfairly so. But she said it was definitely the support I gave her at the end that made graduating and now looking back on that something very possible.
Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, it just touches my heart, because I know, I grew up not with the silver spoon in my mouth. And I don't think I would have made it through college without the resources of friends and their families. So I want people to know that there are others also willing to ensure that you get out of life everything, that you do fulfill the purpose and are able to seek and obtain all of your dreams.
I love that. I think about my rearing, and it keeps you humble.
Yes.
It keeps you near and just up close with what's important. And I just think it's important to always give back, and when you're able to just touch a life,
absolutely,
and it's real, and for that life to be able to speak and articulate back what you've done to them, I think it's a wonderful thing, because I think about our sphere of influence, and when you've touched one life, that life continues, and so I love it, and I think it's awesome what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So something that I know that's coming up is your legacy luncheon.
Yes.
So tell us what the legacy luncheon. I know what it is, but I'll pretend like I don't know what it is. But share with us, what is the legacy luncheon that you're having here soon?
As I think of the youth and those that I'm influenced, it's often very reflective of me to think of all of those whom shadow I stand in and whom shoulders I'm able to stand on. There are so many other great women in our community doing inspirational things, things that really make me pause and go, wow, that's something to strive towards. And I would just like to acknowledge that in a collective and a collaborative forum where we just pause, and I say on behalf of my ability to do what I do today, thank you for all that you've done. And so I'm just looking forward to just showing my respect and admiration, and also strengthening the relationships and partnerships of each other so that we all can continue to do great things.
Yeah. So tell us the date, tickets, what do we do? How can someone find out more information about it?
Thank you. If you visit the www.carolyneparker.org, that's my website.
Okay.
You can feel free to just kind of learn a little bit more about the business there. But if you go to Carolyn E. Parker Foundation at gmail.com, you can gather more information about the Legacy Luncheon. It's going to be held at the Victorian Candle Bed and Breakfast that's located in Hollywood, Maryland. It's going to be an awesome time.
Okay.
It's about $28, and you can contact me for tickets.
Okay.
There will be no tickets sold at the door, so you want to get your ticket early.
Yep.
It's going to be a great time. We're going to have entertainment, a great lunch, lots of nice surprises, good networking. I have Miss Shaniqua Cousins, keynote speaker.
What? Okay.
Author will be on the set. So there'll be some book signings. So just a great time. I think it's going to be a great luncheon. It's from about 11 to about 2. So good networking and mingling time will also be included in that event. So I'm very excited. And the food's always good at the Victorian Candle.
I just love the idea of it, and I look forward to it.
Yes.
So I'll be there definitely to support. So I'm just looking to share in that moment with other wonderful women.
Yes.
So,
Marilyn Albright once said, she's one of my favorites, there's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. And there have been so many women that have helped me that if I could get them all in the room, I probably couldn't house them in this forum. But there are some good women that I have been able to form great relationships. And I just want to pause and say thank you for everything that you've done.
And that's
including
wonderful.
you.
Oh.
Yeah, so thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Don't make me cry in my lap.
I know.
So let me ask you this. What do you believe your legacy will be?
My legacy will be to have elevated every life that I've ever touched.
Okay.
Every encounter, every relationship that I have added some value to that individual. And if it's in a professional setting or if it's in a social setting, that I have offered something new, something refreshing, or something that have just lifted someone up at the most opportune time, I believe is my legacy. To shape and touch the lives of all those that God allows me to connect with.
That's wonderful. What would you say that what advice would you give your teenage daughter about her legacy?
I would advise my daughter to be bold, to be confident, to love herself, her truest self, to embrace what God has given her, because it's hers and it's only hers. He makes all of us as unique masterpieces, and to focus on developing yourself as an individual, doing your work so that you can then flourish and release and unleash all of your talents, your God-given talents. And I know a number of girls that struggle with that self-identification. But it's who you are. And I would tell her to love herself, be loved. In the morning, every morning, I have a little wall post-it note, and it says, I'm beautiful, I'm loved, I'm confident, and I'm me. Wow. And I would want her to just continue to take that through life.
So how do you model confidence?
I'm a risk taker.
Okay.
And I believe no risk, no reward.
Okay.
I believe that God has given me all the tools, and I'm probably more confident than I should be sometimes. But I do believe that I'm always prepared.
Okay.
I prepare myself. I do my research. And I believe whatever I lack, God will give it to me in the most defining moment. And I think that's important to know that I know a God of an abundance. And so He's giving me exactly what I need when I need it.
That's wonderful. I think so many of us, men and women, we try to strategize and figure out every step along the way, and it's not for us to know.
Exactly.
But it's for us to rely upon God, and that's where our faith comes in.
Absolutely.
Because that faith will take you where fear won't.
Exactly.
So it's important to really, I'm so glad you hit on that. It's important to really have that understanding.
You'll never have everything going into every situation.
No.
But I think that instinct to step out and take that risk, and you'll get exactly what you need out of that particular situation.
So tell me this, how has growing up in the Bronx,
Brooklyn, yes.
Okay. How has Brooklyn, Virginia, Maine, the Navy, how has it prepared you for the women that you are today, the woman that you are today?
The diversity of thought so many different things about myself in those relationships and about how I communicate with others.
Okay.
So I think that diversity and moving around versus staying in one place has allowed me to accept all of those differences and the richness, to the extent in which we're not diverse or filled with the diversity of thought, we're not rich. So I think that's best prepared me.
So what advice would you give women, girls who have never gone outside of their own community, let alone the state, let alone another country? What advice would you give those that they have the desire, but they just haven't for whatever reason?
Right.
What advice would you give someone who's, tuning in and looking and saying, I wish I could.
Right.
But
I would advise someone to just take the first step. If you have, I think the desire to do something is a calling. And I think just the mere fact that you have the desire, you can do it. So it's just taking that first step of faith, that first leap. I love T.D. Jakes, and he talks about leapers.
Yeah.
And being a leaper, just go for it. And believe that when you get there, you will have what you need to be successful in any place. And that if it's meant for you to be there, then you will definitely have goodness that will come out of it. Because God wouldn't allow you to even get there or go there without giving you the tools to be successful there.
Something that I say to myself daily is, where God calls, He provides.
Absolutely,
and,
every time.
It gives me the energy, it gives me the tenacity to just move forward.
Right. And the comfort knowing all will be well.
All is well.
All
yeah.
well.
I love that. I love it. All is well. So tell me this. How do you model your purpose?
My purpose.
Let me go back. Let me interrupt you for a second. What do you believe your purpose is? And then tell us, how do you model your purpose?
I believe my purpose is to lift others, to really be a blessing to other people. I think through monetary resources, I don't think they're solely mine. I think through the knowledge and the wisdom, it's to educate other people. I really believe my purpose is to lift lives. And it took me a while to realize that. I felt like there was always more, and you would get a promotion, or you would get a job, or you would get some extra money, and it never really scratches the itch. And I learned what the greatest reward for me was to see someone else flourish, to see someone else grow, to see someone else get promoted, just to see an eye-opening experience. I'll give you an example. We had a college panel at Spring Ridge Middle School. At the conclusion, one little girl walked up to me and asked if I really believed that she could ever go to a college, if no one had ever talked to her, if it was really something that could be a dream come true for her. And I thought the fact that she was asking that question was definitely for me like starting to fulfill God's purpose.
Yeah.
And that was to elevate and educate people. Absolutely. And I told her I'll stay with her until we unpack in her first dorm room. So just the belief in people and encouraging other people to reach their full potential, I think is my purpose.
I love it. So tell me this, what do you foresee the next steps for the Carolyn E. Parker Foundation? How do you foresee that next step?
I foresee the foundation blossoming. I'm servicing 2 schools now, building broader relationships. I'd like to just have a building one day where I just have a staff.
Yes.
I'd like to have some summer workshop camps where we're really like thinking about these girls, continuing what we've done all year, but really getting focused and dedicated. Summer camps can be very expensive and unaffordable, but I'd like to offer that, 2 weeks of really working with girls, bringing in experts, professional women, from all over. I'm also looking in 2015 to have a Men's Day event.
Awesome.
To focus on some of the boys in our community and broaden and really partner with the men in our community to make that a successful event. Some boys, whether it's tying a tie or building an obstacle course and learning about leadership. I just want to be a part of that influence as well.
I think it's awesome, and you have my support.
Thank you so much. I will take you up on that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So fill in this blank. You are living your dream of.
I am living my dream of touching lives in partnership with the community.
Okay. And then if I could, just one more question. I know your grandmother, your upbringing and what she's instilled in you. I know that it's helped you to be who you are. Without it, life would be totally different for you. What would you say to her if she were here with us?
Ooh, now you really make me cry. Okay.
Or what would you be able to say to her today if she was here?
I would say thank you. I would say thank you.
And thank you is always enough. Yeah. So I just thank you for your time. I thank you for everything that you're doing for women and girls and the boys. And I thank you for having the courage to live your purpose. I thank you for having the courage to live out your dreams. And I thank you for your friendship.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity. Seek purpose. Live dreams.